Like anyone else who is proud of what they do, tree farmers want to teach others. Whether working with local high schools or the university, teaching the general public, or fellow foresters, these tree farmers want to pass along not only the knowledge and techniques of sustainable forestry, but also the love of the land.
One of the things that we do is try and make it fun for the kids. So they'll develop the love for the land and the trees like we have. And they have a lot of fun, and that's one thing that we believe as far as that for getting kids involved and keep them involved is you got to make it fun. But we've worked with the Sweet Home High School as far as getting them to develop a forestry program in the school itself again. They're in the process of doing that. We're really involved in that. They've actually just got a club now, and hopefully within a year or two it's going to be in the back in the classrooms.
Well, we've shown the property to a lot of people, family and friends. About 4 years ago, I took a young man up here who was a high school student. He was doing a forestry project, and we were actually logging at the time, and he came up during the winter time. And that young man is entering his junior year at Oregon State University School of Forestry. And so I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of what he's doing.
The one nice thing about the challenge camp was that we were sitting here at the end of one of them one evening, and they all go through and tell what that challenge camp meant to them. And this one little boy said, he was from the Portland area, and he said, I've never thought I could do anything. And he said, you made me do things. You made me climb that mountain over there. You didn't force me, you just encouraged me to do so. And now I can do anything I want to do. And I would have never known that if I had not spent time at this ranch. So that in itself was a real plus.
This area right here, it's our educational center. We've had 3,100 middle school kids come out in the last 4 years. We'll have another 75 on October the 7th.
And the special site that's really developed from that program is the structures that got built last year was a goal set with the organization, as well as the 3 different trail systems.
One goes up to a year-round spring, and the other one goes down along our small fish stream. The first 3 years they had a stream table set up, and they'd run it, and it showed how streams were formed depending on logs and trees and all that. And they would talk about RMAs, riparian management areas, and just 50 feet behind there's a riparian management area. So we decided, well, why don't we try to build a trail down there, and so the kids can go actually look at it rather than just stand up here and talk about it.
Started making signs, talks a little bit about some of the native shrubs, plants, trees.
And bridges and railing to keep it safe.
I guess the other special site that the kids found is just up the valley are 2 old cemetery graves from the original homesteaders. And the kids discovered, kind of with a hint of, go see what's over there. So it gives them more of a history of how this is not just a one generation.
Being a former teacher, I'm very interested in education, especially as it relates to forestry. And so I do bring high school groups here usually at Christmas, but I don't advertise Christmas. We just pick holiday greens, but I make sure that they pick at least 4 different kinds and identify them so that when they go out in the woods on their own, they know the difference between a Doug fir and a western red cedar. And they seem to be more interested in the coyote scat when we go and get the greens, but they're out in the woods and they love it.
The property was bequeathed to the Soil and Water Conservation District by a woman, Frida Miller, and Frida had a vision for the property for it to be maintained in active management, and she also was very interested in extending and offering this property to the public as an example of what good management could be, and wanted to use it to educate youth. It has a wide variety of wildlife. It has a pond, stream, and springs that we can talk about with visitors. We feel that it is very unique property in that it has a wide variety of possible natural resource things that can be taught about and learned from here on the property. Well, this is our native plant nursery, and one of the things we're doing here, we're trying to provide plants for restoration projects and also for sale. And some of the things we're doing in here is we're planting plants in deep pots that are shown to be a little bit better for, when planted, a little bit better at drought resistant. They also have straight root systems, deep, extensive root system. They really produce a good tree, and it's a little bit of a specialty item that we sell at our native tree sale every year. The Snowtell weather station, many of you are familiar with it. It is used to gauge how much water is in the watersheds that's used for drinking water as well as irrigation. The problem with the Snowtell network that was identified is that almost all of the Snowtell sites are at the top of mountains and on ridges above watersheds and it's very useful to predict how much total water is going to come out of a watershed. However, they wanted to utilize the Snowtell network to tell them more about what's going on in weather patterns midway through the watershed, and so they were looking for foothills data sites, and Miller Woods is one of those sites.